All right, another day. So, got the bumper mocked up on it. This bumper has its issues, but anyways, and this is also ripped right here. But I got it kind of clipped in. I got this in. I got the Koyo rad in there, basically kind of where it needs to be. If you can see, it's like really close right there. And it's also too low right now. So in order to go up, it actually needs to come forward, kind of like this. So come like that, and then up. So yeah, that's definitely gonna need to come up. And then what you do is you come over here, you grab your tape measure, you stick it out a little bit, you measure the thickness of your intercooler, just 3.5 inches. And then you come over here and you see whereabouts 3.5 inches is going to be. So it does look like I'm going to have to trim this bumper because I do want to have a bumper. Since I'm going to have this dual pass Koyo rad, which is, you know, the other one that I had was super eBay. Like, I mean, you got to check this thing out. eBay as fuck. Let's see. eBay as fuck. The freaking downpipe, like you could see right here, the downpipe was resting on the freaking the radiator there. I had to put a Mishi fan on there because this thing just started overheating. So from that to this unit, like, come on now. All right, so coming to a conclusion, this bumper, it's actually a rep, but the thing that it's replicating, which is the backyard special bumper, is fucking rare. So technically this rep is also rare, just because of the way it works out. But anyways, it's like a $300-400 bumper. I definitely don't want to cut it up. And if I'm centered, let's see, center is about right here, and you know, I'm sticking out 3.5 inches, that'll bring me to about right here. And that, keep in mind, like the intercooler piping goes right here, that curves around, so I'd literally have to cut this whole section out, this whole section out. And what that basically tells me is that this bumper is not going to be big enough. And as of right now, this is a drag racing car, this is a race car, so it needs the cooling systems before it needs the bumper. So I'm going to take the bumper off, and then and the reason behind that too, because this manifold, the way it positions this turbo is just goofy as hell, to be honest. Like, it's just like, it's a long freaking motor. And so I'm not going to sacrifice this bumper for this $30 manifold that I'm eventually going to upgrade. I'm just going to measure it just so I can get the height right, and then take the bumper off, and then just basically position myself based off the turbo and how far over I need to be, and then center the intercooler. All right, bit of an update. So here, this rectangular piece of metal is not square. So what I did is measured that point to this point and then made it square from that. It's 32 and something. Yeah, it's like just a little bit less than 32 centimeters. It's like, what is it, 312 millimeters. Okay, so squaring it off this way, I used this edge, basically used this edge, made it square with the car, put this edge separated from the frame rail to the point that I wanted it, which is 1 centimeter, and then from this frame rail frame rail. Jesus. I measured 1 centimeter out, which you can see here. It's, I mean, you can kind of see it, like the frame rail ends about right here, and that's about 1 centimeter. Anyways, so now I have a square, I have a square. Now also, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna have a flat piece of metal that comes down, basically, that comes down and then curves underneath this piece, and that's where I'm gonna bolt it. Now some people would think, okay, well, how's the strength gonna be, blah, blah, blah. This is pretty thick metal. And also what I'm gonna do is off of here, about 1 centimeter, I'm gonna have a lip, like a 45-degree bend up. I'm gonna round these edges, round it off. 1 centimeter out from this line, it'll be a lip bent up. Same with back there, it'll be bent up. All right, got myself set up here, little sawhorse. I need to chop here and along this line to make it flush. Alright, so ninety, kinda, whatever. 318 millimeters. 318. So that's perfect. So here, the line you see is going to be, the difference in that line is going to be this bend right here. You can see it. I couldn't straighten it out enough. So the amount of space that that bend takes is the difference between these two. So basically what I'm going to do is put that off to the side, and I'm going to go off this one. So I'm going to trace it, and then from here I'm going to add about 4 inches and make an L, about that much. And that square bent is going to be right here, like this little part right here, boom. And then it bends and comes up, boom. And that's how it's going to mount. All right, so I cut that one out. After I cut it out, I butted it up against the metal again, traced it out, and cut out a second one, so I have 2 identical pieces. Right now, I'm going to drill through the points that it mounts onto the frame. Alright, so far I got it up to a 15/64 hole. I started off with my titanium bits that I used for Hot Wheels. That's funny. And I'm just slowly stepping it up until I can fit this bolt. So one of these. I fucked up. I cut these things wrong. You see how the thing goes backwards? So if I pull this shit out of here, both of these were made backwards, right? So what I did was, instead of cutting out new ones, I basically just cut it off right here, and I welded it the other way. Welded it front and back. I got spatter I'm gonna clean up, but they're welded as fuck. Alright guys, it was a long day. I didn't film much, but we got a lot done today. Basically, this thing has bars below it that I welded. You can see the weld spots. I stitch welded it all along the bars. Basically, there's, I mean, you can see it. There's bars going this way, and then there's bars going that way to give it rigidity. Another thing, I was going to take it all apart and paint it. I'm going to wrinkle black it. I have zinc coated grade 8, which is way overkill, but whatever. It's zinc coated, so it looks great. So one thing I'm going to do is so the intercooler piping is going to go right here, but this is really loose. So I'm going to weld or cut a piece of flat stock and have 2 bolts that come here. And then I'm going to cut another piece of flat stock up here and have 1 bolt, and then have a section where they both meet with like a piece of round tube. So I can cut it at an angle and weld it flat, and that will give it rigidity right here. Once I have that made and bolted up, then I can take it all apart and then paint it. Now what I got to do, since my intercooler piping comes to about right here, I need to have them extend it out to over here. So what I did is I went ahead and removed all the gold foil stuff, which was on there really well, like you can still see it. So I got to wipe this down with some acetone. Originally I had them cut it and actually shorten it, but now I have to have them extend it. So once I have them extend that, then I can, you know, put the intercooler piping together. Once the intercooler piping's on, then I can plumb, you know, just run the vacuum hose to the part in the back where I got it plugged. After that, I'm gonna use like I showed you guys with the radiator hose, and yeah, and then it'll be done. I gotta bleed the clutch, and she'll be pretty ready. First things first, I'm gonna hit up Testing Tunes, obviously work out some bugs, because I'm sure there'll be some. Oh, first things first, after I get this thing running, get it to hold temperature and get the fans to engage and make sure there's no boost leaks, then I'm gonna take it to the dealership that's close by to me that has an in-ground alignment rack and get this thing aligned. There is one thing, I mean, when it was up in the air, this side it still kind of rocks back and forth, and it's not the wheel bearing, it's not anything, it's actually the rack. So I may be having to get a new rack, but it's not a big deal. I'll get that, get it realigned, and then it'll be literally almost a brand new car. So stay tuned. Peace.